The 1960s marked the final chapter for one of Britain's most innovative truck manufacturers. Thornycroft had been building vehicles since 1896, pioneering everything from steam wagons to massive tank transporters, but by the time the Beatles dominated radio waves, Thornycroft was fighting for survival under new ownership. The decade saw the company produce some of its most impressive machines, while simultaneously watching its independence slip away. Number 10. Thornycroft Mighty Antar Mark III. The Mighty Antar Mark III entered British Army service in the early 1960s, built to haul the increasingly heavy Centurion tanks and prepare for the Chieftain. This massive 6x4 tractor stood apart from earlier Antars thanks to a revised profile shaped by a new power plant. Earlier, Antars used the wide V8 Meteorite engine. The 16-litre engine produced 330 horsepower and allowed a narrower bonnet, giving the truck a cleaner, more purposeful appearance. More importantly, the C8 SFL delivered steadier power for moving 50 to 60-ton loads across rough terrain. The Mark III could operate as a semi-trailer tractor or be converted into a ballast tractor for hauling 50-ton Dyson full trailers. Power passed through a 5-speed epicyclic gearbox with direct air operation, unit mounted with the engine. The drivetrain proved durable enough for demanding military tank transport throughout the decade. Number 9. Thornycroft Big Ben Heavy Haulage Tractor. The Big Ben represented Thornycroft's answer to the civilian heavy haulage market in the 1960s. This 6-wheeled prime mover was built on similar principles to the Antar but scaled for commercial work rather than military tank transport. Power came from an 11.3-litre direct injection diesel engine rated at 155 horsepower at 1,900 revolutions per minute. That low-end grunt made the Big Ben ideal for pulling heavy loads from a standstill, essential work for moving oversized industrial equipment. The transmission matched the Antar's philosophy with a 4-speed main gearbox backed by a 2-speed auxiliary box, giving operators 8 forward ratios to choose from. Big Ben could handle gross combination masses up to 40 tons, configured either with a 5th wheel attachment for semi-trailers or an unsprung coupling for 4 or 6-wheel drawbar trailers. The truck found work with heavy haulage specialists throughout Britain, moving transformers, generators and other industrial machinery that ordinary trucks couldn't handle. Number 8. Thornycroft Nubian Major Airport Crash Tender. The Nubian Major arrived in 1964 as Thornycroft's response to growing aircraft sizes and increasing fire risks. This 3-axle 6x6 crash tender was designed for a gross weight of 20 tons and became ubiquitous at British airports throughout the 1960s. The heart of the Nubian Major was a Cummins V8 300 diesel engine producing 300 horsepower at 3,000 RPM. The engine drove through a combined hydraulic coupling and centrifugal plate clutched to a 5-speed epicyclic gearbox. The transmission featured top-mounted power takeoff with synchro mesh engagement that could be activated while moving, allowing foam discharge on the go. Firefighters could begin suppressing fires before reaching the scene. The vehicle delivered massive foam amounts through both a roof-mounted monitor and separate handlines. British Airports Authority operated Nubian Majors at Heathrow Prestwick and other major airports. The distinctive crash tenders, often finished in bright yellow livery, became a reassuring presence on runways. Thornycroft became the leading supplier of crash tenders to both civilian and military authorities during the 1960s and 1970s. Number 7. Thornycroft Swiftsure Medium Weight Hauler. The Swiftsure arrived in 1957, but hit its stride during the early 1960s as a versatile medium-weight truck for general haulage. It replaced the earlier sturdy Star model and represented Thornycroft's attempt to compete in the competitive 6 to 8-ton payload class. Both 4x2 and 8x4 configurations were available, giving operators flexibility for different applications. The 4x2 models served beverage distributors and light haulage firms, while the 8x4 versions handled heavier cargo work with their additional load capacity and stability. The trucks featured modern cab-over-engine design that improved manoeuvrability in tight urban environments. Power came from Thornycroft's own diesel engines, continuing the company's tradition of building complete vehicles rather than relying heavily on proprietary components. The 6-speed constant mesh gearbox, another Thornycroft design, provided smooth shifting and became so well regarded that AEC and later Leyland used it in their medium-weight trucks, even after absorbing Thornycroft. Number 6. Thornycroft Swift light commercial. The Swift replaced the Nippy Star in 1957 and continued production into the early 1960s as Thornycroft's entry in the light commercial vehicle market. Rated for approximately 4-ton payloads, the Swift competed against Bedford, Ford and Austin offerings in the bread-and-butter segment of the truck market. These practical workhorses serve small businesses, local authorities and delivery firms throughout Britain. The Swift's compact dimensions and tight turning circle made it ideal for urban work, navigating narrow streets and congested city centres that challenged larger trucks. Despite the light-duty classification, Thornycroft built these trucks with the same attention to quality that characterised their heavy vehicles. By 1961, when Associated Commercial Vehicles acquired Thornycroft, the Swift had been discontinued along with most of the company's commercial range. Number 5. Thornycroft Trusty 8-tonner. The Trusty served as Thornycroft's workhorse 8-ton truck through the late 1950s and into the 1960s, available in both conventional bonnet and modern cab-over-engine configurations. This versatility let operators choose based on their preferences. Traditionalists favoured the bonnet version's easier engine access, while progressive fleets appreciated the COE's superior manoeuvrability. Power came from Thornycroft's 4-cylinder diesel engine, a reliable unit that provided adequate power without the complexity or cost of 6-cylinder alternatives. The truck's straightforward design philosophy emphasised durability over sophistication, resulting in vehicles that could handle punishing daily work cycles without drama. The Trusty earned its name through dependable service, rather than exciting performance. These were the trucks that kept Britain's economy moving, hauling steel, coal, building materials, and manufactured goods between factories, warehouses, and construction sites. Number 4. Thornycroft Mastiff forward control. The Mastiff arrived in 1957 with a fiberglass reinforced plastic cab that marked Thornycroft's embrace of modern materials and construction techniques. This 6-wheeled forward control truck targeted the medium-heavy haulage sector with its distinctive angular cab design. The forward control layout maximised cargo space on the chassis, while keeping overall vehicle length manageable for navigating British roads. 6-wheel configuration provided the carrying capacity operators needed without requiring the bulk of an 8-wheeler. Mastiff trucks typically ran with Thornycroft diesel engines matched to the company's 6-speed constant mesh gearbox. The combination delivered reliable performance for regional and long-distance haulage. The cab design, while not conventionally beautiful, provided good visibility and reasonable driver comfort for extended journeys. Number 3. Thornycroft Trident Export 6-wheeler. The Trident was specifically developed for export markets, particularly former British colonies, where conditions demanded robust vehicles capable of handling poor roads and limited maintenance facilities. This 6-wheeled 12-tonner launched in 1950 but remained an important earner throughout the early 1960s, with heavy-duty suspension, large capacity radiators, and sand shields for desert operation. These trucks needed to operate in temperatures ranging from Arctic cold to desert heat, often hundreds of miles from proper workshop facilities. The Trident's drivetrain emphasised reliability over sophistication. Thornycroft used proven engine and transmission components, avoiding experimental technology that might fail in remote locations where spare parts took weeks to arrive. Six-wheel drive distributed weight effectively on soft or unstable surfaces, common in developing regions. Export sales provided crucial revenue during Thornycroft's final years of independence. Number 2. Thornycroft Nubian Standard Crash Tender. Before the Nubian Major arrived, the standard Nubian 4x4 and 6x6 crash tenders established Thornycroft's dominance in the airport fire appliance market throughout the 1950s and into the 1960s. These smaller, more agile tenders served military airfields, smaller civilian airports, and as secondary units at major facilities. The Nubian name derived from the successful World War II 4x4 military truck that had proven itself in North African desert campaigns. Post-war Nubians retained that off-road capability while gaining specialised firefighting equipment. The multi-axle drive systems gave them excellent traction on grass airfields, or during wet conditions when reaching crashed aircraft quickly meant life or death. Though airports increasingly favoured diesel for reduced fire risk around fuel-laden aircraft, Carmichael and other fire equipment manufacturers bodied Nubian chassis with foam tanks, monitor nozzles and pumping equipment. The resulting crash tenders could deliver concentrated firefighting power rapidly, crucial for suppressing aviation fuel fires. During the 1960s, Nubians protected RAF bases throughout Britain and served civilian airports from regional facilities to major international hubs. The sight of a bright red or yellow Nubian racing across a runway became synonymous with aviation safety. Their specialised role insulated them from the model cuts that killed Thornycroft's commercial range. Even after Basingstoke production ceased in 1969, Nubian manufacture continued at Scammell's Watford facility. The last Thornycroft-branded trucks were 1964 Nubian crash tenders, making them literally the final products to carry the company's proud name before it disappeared into the Leyland organisation. Number 1. Thornycroft Mighty Antar Tank Transporter. The Mighty Antar defined Thornycroft's 1960s legacy more than any other vehicle. The Antar became the British Army's primary tank transporter throughout the 1960s. Named after a pre-Islamic Arab poet warrior to appeal to Middle Eastern customers, these machines hauled 100-ton loads of steel pipes across desert terrain in temperatures from -20 to plus 120 degrees Fahrenheit. British Army Antars served as 30-ton ballast tractors, pulling Centurion tank low loaders. The massive 6x4 chassis featured twin wheels on both driven rear axles, creating a 10-wheel, 8-driven configuration. Early models used the 18-litre Rover Meteorite 5 8-petrol engine derived from the Rolls-Royce Merlin, producing 285 horsepower. Later versions switched to more economical Rolls-Royce diesel engines. Throughout the 1960s, Antars transported tanks across British training grounds and deployed overseas with armoured units. A total of 730 were produced before replacement by the Scammell Commander in 1986. The Antar represented everything Thornycroft did best: innovative engineering, robust construction, and willingness to tackle specialised challenges. It stands as the company's greatest achievement. Thornycroft's decline came after absorption by ACV and Leyland. The Basingstoke factory closed in 1969, ending 73 years of production. Yet these trucks explain the legacy. Antar, Nubian and Swift showed British engineering at its best. Preserved survivors now stand as museum proof of that era, worldwide respect earned then.